Hello, awesome, legit KidLit viewers. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Alexis, and we're your hosts for today's show. Episode 102 features middle grade author of Smart Cookie, Finding Perfect, Give and Take, and Dear Student. Give it up for Elly Swartz. Elly, give us two truths and a lie about you, and we will try to guess.
Okay, first, hi, and thank you for having me. All right, here are my two truths and a lie. It took me 5 years to get published. That's number one. Number two, my first dog's name was Huey. And number three, I used to be an operator at the amusement park Sesame Place. So is it 1, 2, or 3? That is the lie. I feel like we need background music.
I know. I'm going to say you were not an operator at the theme park.
Okay. Tiffany, do you have a guess as well? Oh, maybe we lost Tiffany.
No.
Okay.
No. What is it?
So the answer is I actually was an operator at Sesame Place. I did have a dog named Huey. It did not take me 5 years to get published. However, it took me 15. So, right. And that is what I share every time I walk into a school and talk to kids. 15 years of a lot of rejections. And while Finding Perfect was the first book of mine that was published, friends, it was actually the 5th book I wrote. So a long, winding path to yes.
Wait, that's a great story of not giving up.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
I learned early on that I love writing more than I hate rejection.
Yeah.
So thank you. And as you said, I'm an author. My book, Dear Student, just flew out into the world in February. And I love this book. I love Autumn. She has social anxiety, has a pet guinea pig named Spud, and becomes the secret voice of the middle school advice column. And I'm just so happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. We are too.
Can you guys hear me? I know I popped off for a second.
We're good.
All right.
We
Gotta
missed
love
you.
technology. Sorry about that. Where are we? Are we on our first question here?
Yes, first question.
Okay. All right, Elly. So glad to have you here. We always love seeing your beautiful smile on Twitter. Great to have you live. Can you describe your writing life in 5 words or less?
Yes. So as I'm going to break this into 2. The first 5 words or less describes those 15 years of no. I was still writing. I was still a writer. But my 5 words are rejection doesn't define me. So, and I hope that rejection doesn't define anybody, because we are way more than, we never should give that power to anybody else. Just hold on to that. I was a writer because I wrote, not because somebody said I was good enough. The second 5 words or less is writing is my happy place. That I love writing. When I got this question, all these words popped in my head: joyful, grateful, happy. I mean, I love what I do, and it's a huge privilege to be able to do it.
Oh, that is really beautiful and a great message. So we love pets and animals. Can you show us your pet and kind of tell us how pets play a role in Dear Student?
I will. All right. So here's Baxter Bean. Hold on. Here, Mr. Bean. Okay. So Mr. Bean came into our family during COVID, and he is my writing partner, along with his sister Lucy, who is a beagle, so she's a little bit harder to pick up. As far as the role of pets in Dear Student, pets, I feel like, are a really accessible way to talk about and work through things that feel difficult. In the book, Dear Student, Autumn has social anxiety and would really rather hang out with the pets in her mom's veterinary clinic than in the cafeteria. And I get that. When I'm having a hard time, I mean, pets are that unconditional love. I mean, look at this face. And they just feel good. And what's interesting is that he's going back into his space. What's interesting is when I visit schools, and when we've been talking about Dear Student, we talk about Fearless Fred. Fearless Fred is a concept that's introduced in the book about how we all have that part of us that fear can't boss around. But the question is like, how do you find your fearlessness? How do you get to the other side of your worries and stresses? And we go around the room and talk, because sometimes our own strategies don't work, and it's great to get input from other people. For me, I write, not so surprising. I run, and then I walk around and talk to kids. And a lot of kids have said they play with their pets. They walk their dog. They take out their guinea pig. And I just think pets are a really accessible way for kids to just be who they are and kind of get that unconditional love back. So that is the role that pets play in Dear Student. And I feel like it's the role pets play in our lives.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
I don't have any pets, but Alexis do. So
now, the next time we talk, Tiffany, I'm gonna advocate for you to get a pet. I've had pets my whole life. I'm just a huge pet person, and I just feel like they really do play a critical role in our lives, and they're so loving.
Yeah. We have lots of stuffies that kind of act like pets, but I know it's not exactly the same, but
you know what? That totally works.
Yeah. So out of all of the characters in your books, which one would you say is most like you?
So I think every character has a little bit of me. I mean, if I'm really doing my job right, my heart is on these pages, and if my heart is there, then there's a piece of me. I mean, like a lot of my characters, I have anxiety, and it doesn't manifest the way my characters does. And I'm not my characters, but it's in there. Like Frankie in Smart Cookie, my mom passed away young. So there's a lot of me on these pages, but the character that I identify with most is probably Ian, the little brother in Finding Perfect. I am the youngest of two older brothers. It is possible, as adorable as I was, that they may have found me annoying as a kid. But I love them so completely for who they are. And Ian does that with Molly. Like, he doesn't see that she has OCD, and he doesn't care. Like, none of that matters to him. It's just that complete love you have for the people in your life, your siblings, your family. You see them as a whole person. And I think that I think for me, I kind of identify a lot with Ian.
Oh, I love that. And so you kind of touched upon it just a little bit ago. You said your books, all have something in common, the mental health theme. Why do you think it's important to write about mental health?
Kids have mental health challenges, right? And so the more we talk about it, the more we can break down those stigmas and stereotypes, the more we can normalize the idea of having mental health challenges. When I visit schools and talk to kids and ask them, like, why didn't you tell anybody? Like, why didn't you say anything? Like, what was going on inside? Because, right, mental health challenges, it's invisible. So you need to have the courage. You need to have the words to be able to start a conversation. And some of the responses I get from kids are like, well, I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I didn't want kids to stop hanging out with me. I didn't want them to think I was weird. Those answers, that's not okay with me. It is not okay with me that kids feel shame and embarrassment about mental health challenges. It's no different than breaking your arm and eating a cast, wearing glasses. And the more we can normalize that concept, the more kids can realize that they're not alone, and the more they will reach out for help. And I feel like writing is the tool I have in my toolbox. That's what I have that I can use so that putting books into the world that have kids that have mental health challenges in them that are just going about their daily life, right? It's not necessarily about mental health, but it's about a kid who happens to have a mental health challenge in addition to, they write or they read or they're sisters or brothers or there's a lot more to them. And so for me, I'm hopeful that the books I write can be part of the beginning of breaking down those stigmas and stereotypes, giving kids the words and language they need to talk to somebody and the courage to begin those conversations. So I mean, it's kind of my everything.
Yeah. I remember one time I was doing a lesson, or no, I had went to a conference and they had talked about like I forgot what they called it, but anyway, it was just like we call it power writing where you just write.
Oh,
You
right.
don't
Like
stop.
a free write.
You just
Yep.
right. Yeah. You just free, whatever's going on. And so I tried it with my kids and I started it by saying, I have anxiety, and when I'm feeling really anxious, I can write and I feel like it's released.
Right.
And when I said anxiety and I described it a little, I was like, when I feel like my chest is really tight or my thoughts are crazy, I saw so many eyes when people like sit up, and it's like they were like, wait, I do that. And it was one of those where I was like, you could try this strategy. It can be helpful in our writing, but it can be helpful in life. And it felt really good. So I have tried to start saying that word and like, I'm feeling anxious right now or things like that to help it feel real. And they can see that. So I love that you have books like that too.
Thank you. And I share with students that I have anxiety. I mean, it's not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
None of us are just one thing. It doesn't define me. It just is a part of me. And that's okay. And so, right, the more we can have those conversations, Alexis, I'm so thankful that you are introducing that topic, talking about it, normalizing it, because I'm sure kids are like, oh my God, you do that too,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives them a safe space to share.
All right, so let's take was a good deep thoughts, but let's take a break and do something silly. Let's do a Mad Lib with one of the pages of your book. So, Tiffany, I will. Oh, okay, we've got them written down. Good. All right, so I'm gonna give you if you guys aren't familiar with Mad Libs, we've chosen a page out of Dear Student and made it into a Mad Lib where we have taken out the parts of speech and we're gonna ask Elly to plug those in.
I love this so much.
And for those watching, teachers, educators, students, you can do this on your own, like even in your own writing, just erase those parts of speech and plug in some silly ones. So the first one is body part.
Toe.
Food.
Gotta go Twizzlers.
A place.
Top of a mountain.
A verb.
Dance.
Another verb.
Sing, which nobody ever wants me to do.
Tiffany, will you do the rest? I need to go grab the book.
Yes. So a noun.
Tooth.
Okay. Greeting.
Howdy.
Adjective.
Squirmy.
Okay. A verb.
Wiggle.
A noun.
Boot.
Go with another verb.
Fish, as in two fish.
And then book title.
Finding Perfect.
And then finally a noun.
Rock.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to read what she has created, and then we will show the real page. All right. So my toe feels like it used to when Dad and I made Twizzlers. I text him before I even leave the top of the mountain. I want him to know I did it. I found my one thing. Then I dance home. Gosh, I'm out of breath. I had to go run. I dance home and sing into the kitchen. Howdy, Mom says, taking off her reading glasses. By the size of the smile spread across your face, looks like you had a squirmy day. Yes, I shout and wiggle around. You're never going to believe what happened. I'm about to tell her that I'm dear student, that I seized the boot, that I did it, until Pickle fishes into the room holding Finding Perfect. I look at my mom and rock and swallow my news.
I'm definitely doing that. Tribute to both of you. I love it so much.
That was a lot of fun. So let's take a look at the actual page. Okay, so this is chapter 20, where worries sprout like dandelions. My heart feels like it used to when Dad and I made whoopie pies. I text him before I even leave school. I want him to know I did it. I found my one thing. Then I sprint home and fly into the kitchen. Hi, Mom says, taking off her reading glasses. By the size of the smile spread across your face, looks like you had a great day. Yes, I shout and spin around. You're never going to believe what happened. I'm about to tell her that I'm dear student, that I seized the day, that I did it. Until Pickle walks into the room holding Lady Pancake and Sir French toast. I look at my mom and sister and swallow my news. By the way, I love that. I love Sir French Toast and Lady Pancake.
Yes, Josh Funk's book. I love to shout out to my author friends in my books when I can.
That's so cute. All right, so I have to say I kind of like your revised edition. You know, making Twizzlers.
Yes, I'm gonna have to think about that. When I'm stuck, I think this is the perfect thing to do. Mad Libs.
Yes. All right. Are you currently working on any new writing projects?
Yes. And the happy news is when I am done here, I am hitting send. So, happy dance. I am working on the revisions for Hidden Truths. Hidden Truths comes out next year in 2023. It is my first book that's being published, that's being told in dual POV between best friends Eric and Danny. Danny is a rock star, confident girl baseball player who makes the all boys team. And Eric is her neighbor and best friend. He is quirky. They both love comics. He loves crosswords. He has ADHD, forgetful, sweet, and sensitive. And there is an accident that happens that Danny gets hurt and he feels it is he's worried it's his fault. This book explores guilt and forgiveness in ways that are new for me. It also really explores friendship and how far you would go to keep a promise to a friend. What lines would you cross? How far would you go? And when that friend isn't acting like a friend, do you still keep your promise? And it has a little bit of an Erin Brockovich twist. I'm a lawyer. So there's some kid sort of activism in a way where they're sort of championing, investigating, I would say. And I love this story. It also really addresses the idea of not being one thing. Danny isn't just a baseball player. Eric isn't just ADHD. Like they're both so much more, and kind of coming to that realization that whether it's a good thing or a challenging thing, they are not just that one aspect of their life. I love this story. This story, also a little fun fact, was the first book I ever wrote. I started it in 2001, and it has only taken me 22 years to get it right. So that comes out next year.
That sounds absolutely incredible. And what a story behind it all, too.
Story behind the story.
I know, right? So before we end, what can teachers find on your website that they can use in their classroom?
So I have a section for it actually says for educators. It is a tab with tons of resources. There's SEL resources. There's curriculum guides that I've written in conjunction with educators for all of my books. All of it is free, downloadable activities, discussion guides. It's my way of really saying to educators, thank you. Thank you for all you do for kids. Thank you. If you're picking up my book and want to use it, you have a lot on your plate, and hopefully this will make it a little bit easier to just dive into some resources that there are. So you can find that if you want me to come to your school. I love visiting kids. There's information about that too, about my books, and there's a contact section. I mean, you have questions, just reach out.
That looks awesome.
Thank you.
So, Elly, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you both for inviting me in. It was fun. I love the Mad Libs. And
Good.
really, thank you. You're both teachers. Thank you guys for what you do. Please know how much I respect you, how grateful I am for all you do for kids, and for all the educators out there. I mean, really, the imprint you have on the kids in your class goes well beyond the end of the school year. I mean, that's like a forever imprint. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. To all of our readers, we hope you enjoyed our show and are inspired to pick up all of Elly's books.
Yes, and we'll be back next Sunday with more KidLit fun. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Tiffany, and we are signing out. See you later.